Hi guys. Hi. This is my mom. So she's gonna come too. So she's never been to a press table or Comic-Con, so she's experienced it for the first time.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome.
I love your shirt.
Thank you. This is ways.com/equality. It's supporting equality for the North Carolina bathroom bill, and that people should be able to use the restroom that they identify with. Gender they identify.
Love it.
So, yeah. It's for sale. It's for yeah.
So jumping right into it, your character obviously has been growing throughout the entire show, especially coming into her powers and everything. Season 5 saw her doing a whole lot more with them. What's going to happen in Season 6? Is she very comfortable, or is she constantly learning new things she can do?
I would say Lydia is the most mature she's ever been this season, so I think she's dealing with civilian adulthood matters in that sense. I know breaking out of Icon House, you have to see a more physical side of Lydia. And this season, she puts back on her heels and is in more of the psychological and intellectual conversations of trying to solve economic problems.
What has been your favorite personal mystery that you cracked on the show? Like, she's such a...
There's one coming up, and it deals with time travel, or a different period, I should say. I gave that a little bit away, but you'll find out in the first 30 seconds of the episode that it's time travel. So yeah, it was a great episode that dealt with more of the Irish folklore as a whole, not just Lydia's family, and it potentially connects to helping beat the villain. There's actually two, but beating one of them this season. Yeah.
Lydia gained so many new abilities last season, but always under like really intense circumstances. So what can you tease about how her powers are going to play in now that she's more like back into pack life?
Her powers play in indirectly into reaching out to other time periods and seeing how those banshees connect to her bansheeism, and learning from others is how she is able to contribute this season. You would say it's the biggest aid Lydia is able to lend. So it's indirectly is how she's able to help.
We've been hearing about this big Stydia moment, which I know you probably can't spill too much about, but how does it sort of compare to their past interactions, or, you know,
there's something definitely added to the pile in comparison to the past interactions. I would say there's definitely a new angle in which they interact.
Do you find yourself rooting for them, or do you kind of want Lydia to go her own way?
You know, it's funny, as an actor, I really try and live in the moment and not, I know it sounds like a cop-out answer, it's true, because you can't, anything you get married to, any project you're auditioning for, any project you want, any episode that might get written, if you start getting attached to it, it won't work out. So I honestly just, each script that comes to me, I'm like, okay, what am I doing? Got it. And I just focus solely on that as an isolated case. It was funny, somebody had asked us in another interview, what do you plan for Lydia, you know, coming up for the rest of 6? And I said, I don't know, I haven't thought about it. And he goes, oh, I've got a ton of plans. I'm like, I don't know, I don't know. And so, you know, it's whatever they throw at me. I am a fan of the fans, and I was a Ross and Rachel kind of girl, so I get it. I'm not just in like left field being like, I don't, what are they talking about? I totally get it. So I want them to be happy, for sure. And if that's Stydia, then that's Stydia. So I am hoping that they get their wish, and I think they will be satisfied.
What was your impression of the ghostwriters, and how is Lydia going to interact with them specifically?
Lydia, I wouldn't say has a front row seat to them, but she's definitely analyzing them the most. And there's a reason why she's able to analyze them the most.
And what did you think of them compared to like past villains?
I think 6A is very similar to 3A in that a lot of it's psychological. My favorite was the white room and the bathtubs and the go. And so this is reminiscent of that season, and that a lot of it is psychological, and dealing with space and time, and you're not really, it's not on the surface. That's why I like it.
Obviously, the older generation is looking ahead to college and maybe moving on from Beacon Hills and stuff like that. What can you tease about Lydia's path following high school?
Well, the first half of 6 is definitely, graduation's mentioned a couple times, but we're not quite there yet. I think the second half of 6 will be dealing with a lot more of those issues. I think she makes the most mature decisions that benefit Beacon Hills as a whole versus just herself. But as far as adulthood goes, she's the most mature, but she's not quite there yet. I think that'll be dealt with, which we haven't started shooting yet. So that tells you how. Yeah. Any others?
Lydia's been through so much. Do you have a favorite moment that you've played?
That one episode coming up this season I like a lot because it just answers a lot of questions from a real life quote standpoint that it applies to all of Irish folklore about banshees. I mean, you could write a whole show about just banshees, which there was one, and I like that there's an episode that focuses solely on that. So a lot of questions get answered with people come up with very detailed questions about banshee history. I'm like, and that episode deals with a lot of that, and they put their own team will spin on it, which is fun. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.